Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, we're going to go to a Marvel comic book and talk about just one today, kind of special to me, by David Michelinie again, and this is issue 55. Now in this issue, Leia scouts out the planet Arbra for a potential rebel base. You know, ever since they evacuated Hoth, they've been kind of bouncing around, having these temporary bases. They need somewhat of a permanent base, so they go to Arbra, and where they encounter these Hoojibs. And the Hoojibs agreed to let them set up a base if the rebels agree to help them kill off their natural predator on the planet. And you're like, wait, what? I mean, let's think about this. First off, the Hoojibs are little cute, adorable, fuzzy little creatures. You want to pick them up, you want to love them. They got these sad, big, droopy eyes. You're like, aw, Hoojibs. And then they're predators, the Vilix or so, Civilith, I can't remember what they're called. But anyway, they're terrible. They got claws, they got fangs. Oh, they're big and mean and scary, and they eat the Hoojibs. Well, man, if this was Star Trek, they really broke the First Order, right? You're basically changing the demographic of the planet by destroying a natural predator. Now the Hoojibs are probably, at this point, they've taken over Arbra, and maybe they're looking at, you know, galactic conquest. Okay, I'm going a little bit overboard, but you get the point. The thing is, I just find it funny that in this comic book, the rebels are like, yeah, who's the bad guy? This guy? Sure. Bam, 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 bam. Killed. Now can we be friends? Like, would you really do that without finding out? I mean, the Hoojibs are sentient, and it doesn't seem like their natural predator is, but you don't know. You don't know. And so when I first read this, I did not think like this. But looking back over the story now, I'm going, you know, I think the rebels should have done a little bit more investigating than taking the Hoojibs at their, you know, word, even though the Hoojibs are cute and cuddly and so much fun. Now, the reason this comic book is actually kind of special to me, because this was actually one of the two record and read books that had come out back in the mid-80s, and they were basically just reprints of the Marvel comic book series, but I didn't know that. Remember, we talked about Droid World, and when I saw Droid World, I was like, wow, you know, the little kitty book and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new, you know, for me it was new. I didn't know Expanded Universe, but I just thought it was the continuing adventures of Star Wars, and I was super happy to read it. And Droid World was like, oh, the movie that just never got made, because I'd listen to that record and just hear the action and hear the special effects and think, oh, this would have been a fantastic movie, you know, because I wanted more Star Wars. And I remember it was at a Kmart. I was at a Kmart way back in the day, and we saw Planet of the Hoojibs, and I was like, shut up, they made another one. And I remember I begged, I pleaded with my mom to please get me this record and play, and she was not. She's like, no, I don't love you. She didn't say that. It's probably like, no, you little brat, I'm not spending that much money on you. But I wanted it so bad because, like, oh my gosh, another story. Now I was really confused because Hoojibs on a planet, it kind of reminded me of Ewoks, so I thought this story also had Ewoks in it. I remember thinking that as a kid because maybe I didn't see the cover that well, but I was like, oh my gosh, Ewoks are in this too. This is the continuing adventures. This is what happens after Return of the Jedi, and I have to know it. I remember thinking that when I saw the cover. And of course I don't remember it, but growing up I was like, oh man, I wish I could have that one. Every time I listen to Droid World, I was like, wish I had Planet of the Hoojibs. And when I finally got it, I was super happy, and I was like, oh, look at this. Now, I had it on tape. I remember I bought the tape in Reed, and I had a tape player at the time, and I played the tape. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And then, like, soon after that, I bought the Marvel trade paperbacks of the original Marvel comic books and started reading through them, and then discovered that not only was Droid World one of those Marvel comic books, but also Planet of the Hoojibs. And I was like, shut up, this is the Hoojibs. Now, I enjoyed Droid World more because I grew up listening to it so much as a kid, but Planet of the Hoojibs is also kind of special because it's one of those only two stories that they pulled from the Marvel series to make those little record and read or play and read kid books. So for me, this issue is actually kind of special. Probably not that special to you though, right? Just well, I should mention before I go, Abra is actually their home base for basically the rest of the series, just about. Up until Jedi, I think they are still at Abra. So this became a permanent base. So this issue is actually kind of poignant for that purpose. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. See you next time with another video.